Hello, everybody out there. This is the second series I'm doing called Remote Workers, and talking about how I work from home, how I've been able to do it, what kind of equipment I need, the lifestyle of working from home, and all that kind of stuff. Because I remember when I really had a desire to work from home, and I just want to show you how you can do it and the lifestyle. And is this what you really want? If you want to know about my take on all of this and kind of an overview of my life working from home, you can see the first video I did on this, but this is the second one where I'm going to focus on the stuff you need, the equipment, the resources, things like that. First and foremost, on the top of the list would definitely be internet, because internet is, while this is possible, unless you're doing like they do have work from home jobs where you are just taking calls all day, where customers call in and you will do travel, or you do setting up appointments. That's another one that I've heard of that a friend of mine does. And but right now I'm going to tell you what I use and what's necessary for me, especially if you're an IT worker. The biggest thing you're going to need is internet connectivity, and you don't need slow internet connectivity. You need fast, as fast as you can get it, internet connectivity. You don't need like one of those business level ones, but just to give you an idea, I use one here in the US called Comcast, because right now in my particular area, I live kind of in a suburban, kind of a rural, not really rural, but the internet, it's not by the city, so it's like smaller. It's like a smaller city is where I live in Colorado, and we don't have a huge variety of internet just yet, but it's growing, so it'll get there. But I use Comcast, and because they have the fastest one, and I use Comcast cable because I tried some of the other services like the satellite one, and then I tried DSL. Those weren't as stable for me in my area. So each area has different level of stability. I had to go with cable. I'm not a huge fan of Comcast, but they do have the best internet in my particular area. So let me just show you this here. This is my work computer, and without showing any details, and you'll see it has two screens, and I'll talk about the monitor situation. Why do I have so many computers and monitors and stuff? I'll explain that. But first I want to explain internet. So it's really important for me because I do in databases and doing lots of transporting data back and forth. So I have to have Ethernet. Ethernet is way more stable for what I do. I do have wireless as well. However, Ethernet is super important for what I do. And I'll show you, I've got a little router here, so if I can enhance my wireless. There's a little trick that I learned off the internet on how to increase Wi-Fi connectivity, Wi-Fi area. So this, you just cut a can open and then put it on here. It acts as like an antenna. Just a kind of a cheap way to do it. It really does work. It like doubles the area that you can cover with Wi-Fi. But Wi-Fi is still not good enough, even though I'm super close. Sometimes there's like contention. There's sometimes there's interference with the Wi-Fi. So the Ethernet cable for me is the best way to go, and this just connects right into the back of the wall over there and gives me the fastest speed possible. My speed gets up to 150 megabytes per second, and that's pretty. That's close enough for what I need. Usually it's around 80 if you're plugged in. If you're using Wi-Fi, then what I've noticed is it gets down to about 20, which is still pretty good. So I also have like a backup Ethernet just in case it goes down, because my whole life, my income really depends on the internet for my actual regular day-to-day job. I mean, I can't remote into the client, to my customer. I don't have any connectivity to the corporation I work for. I don't, everything I do relies on internet, so I have to have internet at all times. Either Wi-Fi does work. I just found it's a little bit, it'll drop every now and then. you know, I really can't make voice over IP calls with it, so I have to use my regular phone. But my backup connection is actually my phone. So if I actually absolutely have to, and for whatever reason I can't connect to the Ethernet cable in my house, I just use my phone hotspot. And that was a real big feature for me. I have to pay more money for it, but I figure, you know, it's all of that's for a good cause. So that's just one of the expenses that I have to do. And at the end of the year, I can actually write it off on taxes because I'm spending X amount. Like, just to give you an idea, I spend about $130 a month on the fastest Ethernet without doing the business stuff. You know, the business stuff can get in the hundreds and hundreds of dollars, but I'm just doing the fastest one I can do for a residential area, which is about 150, and I spend about 150 on that. It comes with cable, which I don't really watch. I just watch the news. That's about it with cable, and then there's a couple shows that are pretty good, but you can probably get them off the internet. And then for my phone, I use T-Mobile. It's pretty good for this area, and it costs an additional $120. So altogether for internet, I'm paying about $200 and $200 and almost $300 a month actually on our internet. But like I said, everything I do is based off the internet. All of our side businesses, everything we do is based off the internet. So we really need fast internet. We need a backup internet. We need it all the time. So that's the main thing. That's the source there. The second thing would be definitely the computer itself. Now this computer actually comes from the people I work for, and I'm not going to go into details about that, about who I work for and all that kind of stuff, but this is the computer that I use, and they sent this to me. Now, why do I have several computers here? Well, my wife and I actually work every day of the week on internet business and video editing and all that kind of stuff. So this was the first computer I had to do business and stuff. It is a little slow for doing editing. We started getting really big into YouTube videos, and I needed something a little bit more powerful. That's why we have two, but now we use it to work simultaneously. Obviously I can't do my business stuff on my work laptop, so this one has about 6 gigs of RAM. It's an i5. This one has about 6 gigs of RAM also, and I believe this is also an i5, and it's really not enough to do videos. You can kind of do like lower level videos on it. This one is an i7, and it's about 24 gigs of RAM, and we really needed something this powerful to do the level of editing we started doing. So that's why I have that. Some of the associated things I have with it is these drives, just to manage all the data that we have when we travel and things like that. And then we have this little bad boy right here. We don't use it that much, but it's a NAS, network attached storage area, and it's MyCloud from Western Digital. It's pretty handy. We just store like old data on it. Like once the data is like we're not going to use every day, we store it on here because we don't want to lose pictures and video and stuff. And it's actually connected directly to the Ethernet as well. This little doohickey here is a scan snap, and we use it to, you just scan documents with it, important documents you have, like you can actually do bills and then makes bills searchable. It's actually a really cool tool that we've been using more and more. It's just a scanner basically. It costs about $300. I think you can probably get a discount on Amazon for like $250, $260, $270, something like that. So let me see what else things we have. Oh, the extra monitors. We use the extra monitors specifically for trading stocks. Like this one has an extra monitor so we can trade stocks. It's really important to always look at what's going on with the stock market real time. So that's why what you do is you display the stocks over here and then you trade on your main computer, kind of just to keep an eye on it. This one has 2 monitors because the amount of work I do, I'm always multitasking, and so it really requires that I do constant work. And oh, thanks. My wife just brought me some food. Isn't that sweet? Wow, look at that.
Sorry.
She's a good wife. Here's I have 2 of these because it's I do multitasking all day with my job. And this little thing right here is a fob that allowed me to get into the secure network that I have to get into. This, I actually don't use this as much. I just kind of overdid it with this extra screen, but it was cheap. It's like 80, 70, 80 bucks or something like that. So we got it, and every now and then I'll use it for a backup for this one. This TV, you know, just watching stocks, news, Bloomberg. Let me just show you a couple of other things, equipment I have. Going to the other room here. And this is actually an important addition to what we do. This is a printer. It's a Brothers printer. And what I've found is, now this is my old printer. Now why is this important? Okay, so we print out a lot of stuff. But we do, like, if we have to do a script, or if we have to, you know, just stuff for my job or things like that. This is an old inkjet. This is an old inkjet, and I've had these for years. But what I found is you have to replace them every few years, and then the cartridges, the money you spend on the cartridges for these things, you end up buying this printer 2 or 3 times over, maybe 5, 6 times over, depending on how long you have it. So we decided to go with a LaserJet, and this LaserJet is a Brothers I don't know if you can see this, but it's an HL310CDW. So I'm not sure if you can see that. I'm trying to zoom in so you can see it. It's a damn good printer, and it was expensive. I mean, this thing is like $260, whereas this one's only like 80 bucks. You can get these inkjets for 80 bucks, and the reason why they sell them cheap is because the ink is what's really going to kill you here. Because in a year, the amount of ink you buy is you could buy 2 or 3 of these things. Now it does have a scanner, and this wasn't really the cheap one back in the day, but the ink actually made it so that it's way more expensive than it should be. This thing, the LaserJet, you don't have to buy any more ink for this thing for years. I mean, well, it depends on how much you print, but since we don't print that much, this thing's gonna last us like 2-3 years. Now the ink, once you buy it, is like $100. It's not cheap, but if you compare it to the price of this, it's way cheaper to just go with the LaserJet. So just kind of wanted to add that in there and just say, hey, you know, go with LaserJet. Especially if you're working from home and you're gonna need a lot of ink, go with a LaserJet. Don't go cheap with that. This other equipment here, like I said, we've gotten serious about doing video. So this is just a green screen, and this is a light source. This stuff wasn't not cheap altogether. We've slowly been buying all the equipment that we need for this. Those are the main things you need to have an office, and it really depends on what you do. You might not need as much as far as equipment. It depends on what you're doing. Maybe for you need a landline because you're on the phone all the time. Maybe you don't really need computer equipment. Maybe you don't need the NAS. But I can tell you, for what I do, I need a fast internet. I need a backup internet with my phone. I need so that's a cell phone with data, and I needed storage because we have so much data that we use, and I think those are the main things. Those are the main things that you'll need for your office, and kind of a setup here. This is what we have set up. It's kind of a mess right now because I'm in between a whole bunch of stuff. And this right here, you may not need this, but our AC doesn't work in the house. Is not as good as central air, but it still gets hot. So I had to go ahead and get this. I think it gets extra hot in this room because of our setup here. And that's it. I just wanted to give you guys an idea of a remote worker lifestyle. So I'm going to continue with this series, and I'll give you more information, raw footage, very little edits, so you can get an idea of what it's like to do this kind of line of work. Is this what you really want to do? What kind of stuff do you need? What are some of the challenges? Those are the kind of things that we're going to cover in this particular vlog. All right, I'll see you guys later.